Hi everyone, Aaron here for Zollotech, and iOS 14.4 Beta 1 has been out to developers and public beta testers for a few days, and so I wanted to do a follow-up since many of you were asking. The other day I did a follow-up on iOS 14.3, and so many were asking, where's 14.4? So I wanted to cover that in a separate video since it was only out for a couple days at that point. So I've been using it primarily on my iPhone 12 Pro Max full-time since it came out. I also have it on the iPhone 11, my iPad Pro 12.9 from 2020, and the iPhone 7. And so I asked quite a few of you on Twitter as well how this has been, and so we'll take a look at that in a moment. But the first thing is, my overall experience is pretty good. There are some issues though. One of the things that I really like about this update is the new feature that brings the sort of bringing your phone close using the Apple U1 chipset playing music to a HomePod. So here's my HomePod, and you can see already it showed up. So it sort of pops in, and it's a little bit buggy at this point, but maybe you're playing music. Let's go back to, say, a different song here, and we'll just hit this, but I won't play it. So we'll go ahead and hit play. And as I'm playing it, if I bring my HomePod nearby, it should pop up on the screen. Now, like I said, this is kind of buggy. It should see my office desk, and again, we'll try it again. So I had to try this multiple times in the video showing this feature because it's kind of buggy, like I said. So you can bring it close and tap it and the song will jump. But as you bring it closer, so for example, if I just swipe this off, close it out, go back in, unlock it, and let's try again. And now you can see it says move closer to have it jump to the HomePod. So as I do that, it jumps over to the HomePod. You select the album apparently, and then it will start playing. And so it jumps from here to the HomePod, and it's one of my favorite features. I think it's really nice. It's easier than just tapping it. As you get closer to whatever HomePod you have, it will jump if you have more than one. And so I really like that feature. There will be more in future beta updates. But the problems I'm having, other than that being a little bit buggy, is the issue I'm having as well is stutter or sort of lag overall. So maybe you're in an app, you close it out. This was an issue on iOS 14.3 as well, and it will sometimes just sort of stutter. So it will sort of do this sort of motion and then close. And so that's a continued issue with iOS 14.4 Beta 1. I hope they fix this in a future update. This affects every single device here. So people are saying the same thing on the iPhone 7, for example. Go into an app, close out, sometimes it will stutter or lag. So people are saying that, along with the other issue I'm having, which is really odd, and I'm experiencing this on the iPad as well. So maybe I'm going to a web page and then I'm loading that web page, scrolling through, then maybe I want to look at the AirPods Max here, and sometimes it just won't load. And in order to get this to load, I'll have to go into Wi-Fi, turn it off, it jumps to 5G or 4G, whatever's available, and then it will continue to load. So if I hit buy, you'll see it's nice and fast. It just takes a second to load, and I'm on that page. Sometimes when I'm on Wi-Fi, it won't work. So on my iPad, the same thing occurs. So I'm on my iPad, I try to browse, it doesn't work. In this case, I turn Wi-Fi off, turn it back on, and then it works. And so this is a continued issue on this device, and I'm not sure what's going on with that. I don't think it has to do with the modem as far as the 5G or 4G modem, because that works fine when I jump off of this connection to that. It just seems to be something with Wi-Fi. It doesn't matter the Wi-Fi network I'm on. I can be in my office, I could be at home, I could be anywhere on someone else's Wi-Fi and have the exact same experience. I experienced that the other day on someone's Wi-Fi. So I'm still having this sort of issue. We're just jumping around. It doesn't seem to work properly. Now, this is the case across all devices. So people are not only reporting that, but they're also reporting crashes or resprings. So meaning the phone, you'll be using it and all of a sudden it looks like it reboots and then comes back up to the home screen or the lock screen, you unlock it and you're back in. So I actually haven't had a single respring or reboot, but some people are reporting that that is an issue. Now there's continued issues with the HDR issue that's specific to the iPhone 12 series phones. So the iPhone 12 mini, 12, 12 Pro, and 12 Pro Max. People are having that HDR issue where the pixels that are actually black when you're playing a movie don't appear black. So they sort of look like they're backlit and then they'll go off and they'll flicker back on and off. Now for me, it seems to be fixed in 14.4, so I can't reproduce it here. And then also that green tint issue is not fixed. So the green tint issue, let me see if I can show you. This is from Jury. He sent this in. I showed this the other day. Let me turn the lights off here so you can see it. But there is a green tint on the display. So you can see the green in here. There's a green tint when he goes in and out. And this seems to be a continued issue for some people. So those that have that on the iPhone 12, Apple has said they'll fix it. They have not given a specific date. Hopefully we'll see it soon, but right now that's still an issue. And that leads me to when to expect iOS 14.4 Beta 2. And I mentioned some of this the other day, yesterday, with my update as far as new hardware coming out. And as far as public releases, well, Beta 2 we could see probably as soon as January, but last year we didn't see any public releases until January 28th to fix any problems. And then we saw an iOS 13.4 release on March 24th. Now, hopefully they're hard at work and they're going to get this under control very quickly. They actually fixed it with the iPhone 11 Pro and 11 Pro Max series when they had the issue with green tint. So I suspect they'll fix that with an update. I wouldn't expect Beta 2 until at least maybe the week of January 3rd. And the reason I say that is Apple is generally on vacation. Now, they may not be on vacation because many people have been working from home, so they could change these dates up and we could see an update as soon as today, late today. Apple's been really changing things, but generally they take this amount of time off and then we won't see an update released to the public until probably the 3rd or maybe even the week of the 10th. So it's hard to say what Apple's doing here as they've been kind of random lately, but based on the past, I really wouldn't expect anything until the week of the 3rd. But again, they could change it. So don't hold me to that with this particular year. It's been crazy for everyone. Now, as far as any other issues, well, I know a lot of people are waiting for that 5G connectivity with dual SIM, meaning you use a physical SIM card and then an eSIM. Well, they've said they're going to do that according to Mac Rumors, but we haven't seen that released yet. So we're not sure when. So when you're on 5G, there we go. When you're on 5G, you'd be able to use 5G with 2 SIM cards at the same time. Currently, you can't do that. Hopefully, they'll release that fairly soon. So that leads me to battery life. I know a lot of you want to know how my battery is. So let's go ahead and take a look at battery life because it varies greatly. This is my iPhone 12 Pro Max, so the health is pretty good. And if we go to the last 10 days, let me show you my usage from yesterday. 50% screen on time got me 2 hours and 52 minutes of screen on time, 4 hours and 40 minutes of screen off time playing music. If we go back a day here, you'll see it was only 2 hours with 50% usage. So far, it's not been great. This day was okay, where it was about 40% usage with almost 4 hours of screen on time, 3 hours of screen off time. So I'm only getting about 7 hours if you were to sort of use this up to 100%. But that said, I'm using it an entire day and using only 50% of the battery. So maybe I'm just not using my phone as much this time, but the overall battery life is not great. This day got me 4 hours and 50 minutes, but I still used between 50 and 75%. So not great battery life right now, but it's an early beta. So I'm not really too upset about that. I would expect it to go back to normal, which is about 10 to 12 hours on the 12 Pro Max is normal. But on my iPad, battery life is terrible. So let me go over to my iPad Pro, and I've mentioned this before, but we'll go into settings, battery, wait for it to load here. The last 10 days, and you can see it was last charged to 100% this morning, and I'm at 81%. I've done absolutely nothing but actually take photos of this for the thumbnail of this video, and it's been on for a little bit of time. So this is today, an hour and 36 minutes of screen on time, 30 minutes of screen off time, 76% of that was on YouTube. And generally you should get about 10 hours minimum or so on an iPad Pro. And so I've mentioned this many times before, maybe I just need to fully, completely wipe this device and reinstall. And I'm going to do that after this video or later tonight because I need to try it out and see if it works. Because Apple has said with earlier versions of iOS 14 rather, that you need to wipe the device if it's having terrible battery life. So I'm going to try that, start the iPad from scratch, see if it makes any sort of difference, and hopefully it does. And if it does, I'll report back, of course. So that leads me to, should you install iOS 14.4 Beta 1? Well, if you're already a beta tester, you know what you're getting into, then sure, go ahead and install it. But if you're on the public release of 14.3 or earlier, I wouldn't update to this because it's an early beta. So at this point, it's going to have some bugs, and if you're having bugs, make sure you report them with the feedback app, and then go from there. Otherwise, I would stay on the public release at this point unless you know what you're getting into, because betas can be unstable, and this one is definitely laggy for a lot of people. Now let's go over to Twitter, where I asked how this has been going. Now I did want to mention YouTube, because I did a YouTube community poll the other day of 14.3, and this has been the most successful vote yet. 42,000 of you voted on this, which is incredible, about iOS 14.3. So I did a follow-up about this, read some comments from it, where there's almost 1,000 comments, and I actually looked through every one of these comments, searched them for 14.4, and the number one thing people were saying is lag and stuttering. So some people are having good battery, some are having bad, but according to Twitter that I asked, well, not too long ago, let me refresh this feed here. There we go. An hour ago, Braden said, it's a bit buggy and battery isn't too great. Some people say it's great, like Ryan Reed. Brandon Farr said very glitchy. Nikki said, sadly, it's very bad on my old iPhone 7, which I use for beta testing. Battery life is terrible compared to 14.3 betas, and overall performance is very bad as well. So from the comments, we can sum up as lag. So you'll see there's a lot of different things in here. So stutters galore. Great, was performing quite buggy on my 10S, had to downgrade to 14.3, on and on and on. Most people are saying, well, terrible, pretty good. I had my phone crash on me, but not sure that it was software or what happened on iPhone 12. So a lot of people, so I'll go through here and heart all these, but fast battery drain, HDR issues not fixed, lag, more lag. Noah said, not too bad. The only issue I'm having is stuttering animation and frame rate lag at times when swiping between pages on the home screen on my iPad Pro 12.9 4th gen. Jeremy DeBose said the same here. So again, that lag is a continued issue that seems to be ongoing over and over. And no, I think beta 2 will be in a couple weeks. But again, I could be wrong, but I'll go through here. And anyone that replied right now, I'll just go ahead and heart, because I appreciate the replies. Of course, when there's more and more, I can't do that on every single one. So, but thanks again for commenting on here. I really appreciate it. And you can go back through and look at this and see what you think. But in general, this is laggy. So that's the number one issue. I'll go ahead and heart those a little bit later. But overall, this is laggy. And so don't install it if you're not on the beta yet. If you're on the beta, well, you know what you're getting into and you know how to go back if you probably are on this. If you'd like to get your hands on this wallpaper, of course, I'll link it in the description like I normally do. And if you haven't subscribed already, please subscribe. And if you enjoyed the video, please give it a like. As always, thanks for watching. This is Aaron. I'll see you next time.